Steve, you are Director of Industry Relations at realestate.com, which is the Rightmove equivalent in Australia. And last year you spoke on the ARIC conference 2018 in front of thousands of agents, and you said that technology is changing the way we will operate as real estate agents in the future. What did you mean by that? Talk to me.
Yeah, excellent. So I was very fortunate in the role that I do at REA or realestate.com.au to spend some time at Google in the United States. And one of the things I learned from Google was consumers, the way they compare experiences today is different to yesterday. Yeah, so let me give you an example. In the olden days, we would compare experiences in industry silos. So we'd compare one pub to another pub. We'd compare one holiday to another holiday, one real estate agent to another real estate agent. The guy from Google said to me, technology's changed all of that. And now what happens is we compare experiences universally across all industries. So for example, in the morning, if you have an experience that's a good one, yeah, so let's just say Uber, yeah, so familiar with Uber. So I have a great experience with an Uber driver because the whole payment process is fast and quick. And,
Great, isn't it?
awesome. And then I end up having to queue to check in at the hotel. What happens is, according to Google, is you start comparing two industries. You start thinking, why the hell can't the hotel industry be as quick and as seamless?
Oh, it's such a pain in the ass because you've booked online, you've given all your details, and they still want your credit card and they still want your address, which you give on.
Absolutely.
It winds me up.
Absolutely. Then compare that to the experience that Uber gives. Yeah, exactly. So I think that what I talked about at ARIC was if you're a real estate agent and you think that the job is simply to give a better experience than the agent down the road, then that's yesteryear thinking. Because now what you need to do, you need to be given experiences that are as good as the best, and whether or not that's Amazon for speed, Facebook for personalization, Airbnb for convenience, that they are now your new competitors. Yeah. And so that was the point of the ARIC conversation, to think bigger if you want to create good experiences that potentially will get shared on social media, those wow moments that you create that make people say, I'm going to talk that agent up or talk that service provider up on social media because they just did something really brilliant.
What was the second thing that you said?
Well, I talked about the speed, and I was, again, very, very fortunate that I spent some time at Uber, and Uber is huge in Australia, absolutely massive in Australia, has strangled the taxi industry in virtually every location across Australia. And I was at Uber in San Francisco, and the guy was saying to me that Australians were so impatient as people, and I asked him to explain. So he said, they can obviously track, they're in 100 countries, so they can track the behaviour of users of Uber. And what the person at Uber was saying was an Australian will order an Uber from A to B, and if an Uber is 8 minutes away, many Australians say, bugger that, I'm not waiting 8 minutes for an Uber, that's not good enough. They cancel and then they rebook, hoping that miraculously another Uber has suddenly come online that's only 3 minutes away. Now there's 2 points here. The first point that the person from Uber was saying is, 5 years ago, before Uber existed, you would have waited 20 minutes for a taxi and you wouldn't have known any different. Now you won't even wait 8 minutes. Yeah. So think about that in the context of real estate. If consumers are getting more and more impatient, but your processes that you're using within your real estate office are the same processes that you used 5 years ago, you run the risk of becoming irrelevant because you're slow, cumbersome, and out of date.
Talk to me about personalisation.
Well, look, Facebook just nailed that. And again, when you think about Facebook, I'll give you a couple of quick examples. So Facebook will send me a notification to say that you have been friends with Christopher, right, for 3 years. Here's some memories of you spending time with Christopher together. Yeah?
Yep.
That's awesome personalization. Facebook say to me, hey, Steve, this is what you were doing 5 years ago today. And I look at it and there's me and the family, all 5 years younger, on the snowfields in Australia. Yeah? I look at it and I think, that's beautiful. Thank you, Facebook. And I probably take a screen grab of that photograph and send it to my wife and say, remember how great that was. Yeah. So what Facebook have done is they've raised the bar as far as personalization is concerned. Now, many agents would go, well, who cares? But remember what I said about Google. We compare experiences universally. So if I am now dealing with a real estate agent who is treating me like a number, I'm going to think, well, why can't they just offer me what Facebook offered me? Why can't it be personalised and so on and so forth?
I mean, agents could almost send old photographs of a vendor's property.
There's lots of things. There's lots of things that we can do. But the point I was making at Eric is the game is changing as far as consumer expectations are concerned, particularly around speed, particularly around efficiency, particularly around personalization. And if you're not evolving and getting better in those areas, you're going to find it harder to justify your commission.
But surely we're living in a 24/7 society where everyone's being watched. Do you think that's an issue?
I don't think. I think it could be an issue, but it could be an opportunity. Yeah. So what we know from all the research that we do is the average real estate agent in Australia gets checked out online, yeah, at least 15 times every single week. Yeah, 15 times.
Because on your realestate.com, which is the Rightmove equivalent in Australia, every agent has a profile.
Exactly. So
you can see this.
Yeah, well, yes. So look, on average, it's 15. But for some agents, they might be getting checked out 20 times, 30 times, 40 times, yeah? We're constantly on show through what our activity is doing on social media. And what I said to the ARIC audience is, you would not dream of going to an open home or seeing a potential seller wearing your gardening clothes. So think about the impression you leave if your digital footprint, which is being watched 24/7, is not professional, up to date, and making you look as though you're a world-class real estate agent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.